When I wake up the next morning, he's already up. Do you always wake up before me? I ask, peeking at him with only one eye open. Habit, he replies simply. He's reading a book in one arm, like he usually is. How did you sleep? Good, I reply. I feel a blush creeping across my cheeks. We had been living together for a few short months now, but we had never really been truly intimate until last night. I bite my lower lip as I smile up at him, feeling suddenly shy. And what has made you so shy all of a sudden? He asks, raising an eyebrow at me. I flush harder. I forgot how well he can read me. I'm not shy, I try to say in my usual cocky tone, but my voice comes off too quiet, too breathy, even to my own ears. Could it be because of something we did last night? He closes his book with one hand and sets it on the bedside table. He runs a hand through my hair and I relish in the sensation, leaning into his touch. Possibly, I say. I close my eyes and lay my cheek against his side, letting my lips brush against his soft, warm skin. I kiss him slowly, tenderly, before I suddenly get an idea. I take advantage of the lack of sheets between us to roll over on top of him, straddling him on either side. He raises an eyebrow, but seems only mildly curious at this new development. I reach forward and put my hands on either side of his face, pulling him in for a kiss. He kisses me back, but only just, leaving me to slowly roll my hips into his, trying to spur him on. More? He asks, and I nod my head quickly. He smiles and strokes my cheek with the back of his knuckles. Was last night really that good? I pause for a second, feeling me come back to myself. No, I say, with an indignant, happy smile. No, he asks, bemused. I lower myself down, pressing my chest to his. I want rougher, I say, my eyes glinting with a spark of mischievous excitement. He returns it, but only for a second. Tori. Rougher, I repeat. Not like super rough or anything, but you know, like... I growl softly in the back of my throat, and I somehow manage to pull it off pretty well. He stares at me for a moment, and suddenly I feel like I've embarrassed myself beyond all ends before he sits up, pushing me off of him and pinning me to the bed. He rolls on top of me, his face in mine. Like this? I bite my lip and stare up at him, feeling the desire starting to drip slowly into my veins. I think I can do that, he says as he pulls on my earlobe with his teeth. He slowly works his way down my neck with a series of forceful kisses before he gently bites at my shoulder, nipping me with his teeth. He seems nervous about it, and he's still being far too gentle with me. Professor Grabiner, the tough, mean, scary teacher, is actually quite gentle in bed. The thought makes me giggle. Something amusing, he asks, and I stop giggling. I don't want to hurt his feelings. Instead, I just force him into a seated position and climb into his lap, much like I had last night. I go to work on his neck, kissing and sucking passionately, throwing a good breathy moan in there for good measure. I sink my fingernails into his back as I bite down on his shoulder and then move my lips towards the base of his neck, sucking and teasing the sensitive skin there. My fingernails are short, but they get the job done, as I can feel him brace himself as I drag my fingertips down his back. He grabs the back of my neck to steady me, taking in a deep breath as I continue my assault on his tender flesh. Suddenly, as if he can't take it anymore, he shoves me off of him. With my legs still wrapped around his waist, he gets back into position on top of me. So this is when it starts getting, again, as I'm sure you can imagine, very not safe for work. I can't read this part aloud because I don't want anyone who shouldn't be listening into this to be listening into this. But if you click the link below, I wrote the story and posted it to our Archive of Our Own, which, if you're unfamiliar with that, is a fanfiction website that hosts a wide variety of fanfictions from pretty much every genre you could think of. So I posted the story there. So you can read the not safe for work content by just clicking on the little link below, and then I'll take you right to the chapter. So I'm just going to read the end here once they finish doing it. But this is also a very long chapter. If you've been following the story, you already know that this is basically their honeymoon. So, okay. He collapses on top of me, his face buried in my neck, both of us breathing heavily. He shifts over slightly, putting his hand flat on my stomach, and I can feel his hot breath on the side of my face. Better? He asks. He still sounds winded. Better, I confirm. I close my eyes and just relish the tingling sensation flooding through my body. He lets out a small chuckle, and I return it as I look up into his face. He looks boyish all of a sudden, younger, especially with his hair unkempt and sticking out in weird places. I let my eyes travel down his body, especially to the raw purple welt where I had given him a massive hickey. I gingerly reach up and brush it with the very edge of my fingertips. You got a little something here. So do you. I look down at my chest to see a red patch of skin and quickly look back up before I can see the real extent of it. I've never had a hickey before, and I'm not quite sure how to feel about it. Let me fix that for you. I reach up again to heal it with a dose of green magic, but he grabs my wrist, quite roughly too, with one hand. I must have flinched as he relaxes his grip on me. He guides my hand to his lips, kissing the pad of my fingertips gently. Don't. I snicker. You want to show that off to all your students over summer school? We have 2 weeks yet, he says casually. Besides, I have a feeling that one isn't the last one I'll get from you this week. Is that a fact? I ask, raising my eyebrows. He just smiles at me, tracing one finger down the curve of my cheek. What? You are really very beautiful, he whispers, almost as if he's not aware that he's talking out loud. I just blush and move a little closer to him, offering up my lips to his. He kisses me softly, brushing my hair out of my face. We lie together for a while, our limbs intertwined. For once, my head isn't crowded with thoughts. If anything, I'm having trouble thinking anything at all. For the first time in a long time, I feel relaxed, at ease, safe. I close my eyes and drift off into another short, happy snooze.